Donald Trump and his inauguration team are having a very difficult time finding celebrities who would perform at the event. Now, people like Ted Nugent will perform, and that's not surprising. However,
if he hasn't crapped himself first.
Okay. But, you know, a lot of A-listers that would perform at other inaugurations just refuse to do so. They're not stepping up. In fact, related to this story, marching bands in D.C. area schools also have no interest in performing at the inauguration, and that's the first time in history that that's happened. So conservatives like Tomi Lahren have an interesting hypothesis as to why this is the case, and she was invited on Bill O'Reilly's program to discuss this. Let's take a look at the first video.
You know, it's amazing that the unloving and intolerant left, the tolerance is really one-sided, Bill, because they seem to be pretty accepting when their narrative is pushed, but as soon as Kanye ventures over to the other side, then that's somehow unacceptable, and he doesn't hear the end of it. And now he's got, you know, a psychotic breakdown because he's a Trump supporter.
I think that it was, the breakdown was before, though, he met with Trump, was it not? It's hard to keep track of these breakdowns, but...
Of course. Well, Kanye's had a breakdown since 2009 when he interrupted Taylor Swift at the VMAs, so let's be clear. But now the fact that he goes to Trump Tower and wants to reach out to our president-elect, that should be a moment the social justice warriors relish in, because that's unity. That's what they would want, but of course not, because it's President Trump.
Okay, so I think it's telling that she had to get corrected by Bill O'Reilly, and then after she gets corrected, she further proves how wrong she is, right? So she's like, oh yeah, liberals are talking about like how he has mental health issues. No, they were talking about that before this whole meeting with Trump. I mean, it's been a big topic, right?
Look, we've covered Kanye plenty on this show, and I called it when, what was he doing? He was demanding like $55 million from Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
And he's like, if you're not racist, give me $55 million because I'm broke. It's like, this guy's a lunatic, right?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with his genius underwater singing or whatever he does. Okay, so no.
Look,
and so he was mental way before he met Trump. But yeah, I don't like Trump. And if you like Trump, I think less of you. Sorry, go cry yourself to sleep.
Look, that's true, but it's also the case that maybe these people just don't want to perform at his inauguration. I mean, think about some of the top A-list celebrities. Think of the top A-list celebrities in the United States right now, right? A lot of them aren't white. And so Trump had probably the most the most controversial campaign in terms of saying disparaging things about various groups of people, whether it's women, black people, Hispanics. Like, he said something disparaging about pretty much every minority group you can imagine. And so if you are an A-list celebrity, if you are a singer, if you are a performer, maybe you just don't want to be associated with him. Maybe you don't want to perform at the inauguration. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's an individual liberty to not perform. If
you're a Latino and he called fellow immigrants coming in from south of the border rapists and criminals, yeah, you think the guy's a douche. And you don't want to have anything to do with a douche. It's amazing what they cry over. Like, why don't celebrities like Trump? Okay, so they don't like him. What happened? I thought celebrities were no big deal.
Right.
But in reality, when celebrities actually like them, they love it. They pleasure themselves to it. So, like, Ted Nugent, he's so cool. Ted Nugent, who the hell is that loser? That piece of crap, literally, have I mentioned this before? You know, he crapped himself to get out of Vietnam. You want to talk about mental? He was so scared that he went in crap-crusted underwear, and they're like, okay, you're mental, you don't have to go to Vietnam. That's how much of a coward Ted Nugent is. He had like one song about pedophilia and sleeping with the underage daughter of his neighbor or something, which Mike Huckabee, the pastor, played along with him, okay? And they're like, oh, Ted Nugent likes us. Losers, you're losers. You can't get real celebrities to like you.
Yeah.
And then you cry about it. Why won't the celebrities like us? Do you need a safe space?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with you. And by the way, that clip opened up with her accusing the left of being intolerant, right? And so I actually agree with her. The left can be very intolerant, and it's very different when you're talking about intolerance involving someone's race or a characteristic that they were born with that they can't change or they can't help. It's just who they are, right? And then the intolerance toward people who are just idiots or who are just hateful, right? And so, yeah, I'm intolerant toward certain ignorance. And she is a symbol of that, right? And so, look, I also find it funny how she's like, oh, they're so intolerant, they're so intolerant. All she does on her show is sit there and talk shit about black people, right? Black Lives Matter, they're violently protesting, I'm against them, right? Colin Kaepernick, he's kneeling quietly and peacefully, I'm against him, right? All she does is whine and cry. That's literally all of her content, right? Ugh.
So, and then one last piece of hypocrisy here. When Common goes to the White House, they're like, look at this rapper. Look at this lyrics from this rapper in one or two songs I found of his. And the Obamas have him over, right? Now when Kanye West goes over to Trump, all of a sudden I don't hear Fox News and Tomi Lahren and the rest of them complaining about Kanye's lyrics. And believe me, you can find lyrics to complain about, underwater or not. And so, but all of a sudden, Kanye's with us, yay! Oh, come on. You're pathetic.
Okay, so one more clip. This is interesting because it has to do with Andre Bocelli, and there's some drama with that. So let's take a look.
So the Bocelli situation, it's foggy. I mean, we don't know if Bocelli isn't performing because he's afraid that he'll lose work or not. We just don't know. Bocelli says that's not true. The inauguration committee says not true. Published reports say it is true, and how do we know? But do you believe that there's pressure from the entertainment people in Hollywood and even Nashville? If you go and you perform at the inauguration, you might lose some work.
Well, Bill, there are still many Americans out there that fail to understand that Donald Trump will be our 45th president, that he will be inaugurated on January 20th. They haven't even accepted that yet. If they can't accept that, of course they're not going to accept entertainers going to perform at an inauguration. This should be an exciting moment for America.
Trump's own inauguration team came out and said, no. Andre Bocelli was not going to perform at the inauguration, and he didn't randomly pull out because he got criticism for it. That's just not true. Trump's team said that, okay? I'm not saying that. And they keep pushing this weird narrative that Bocelli, he really wanted to perform at the inauguration. He's a good friend of Donald Trump's. But then all these liberals came out and started threatening him because they're so intolerant. And then he pulled out. No, but that's not what happened. That's just not what happened. Here's why people don't want to perform at the inauguration. Donald Trump represents a toxic brand, okay? And people disagree with his rhetoric, they disagree with his messaging, and they feel uncomfortable being part of it. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with making the decision to not perform there. Besides which, who cares if there are celebrities at the inauguration? Isn't it supposed to be about our political system and who we just elected as opposed to who's going to be performing, singing, and dancing there?
Sometimes when I listen to Tomi Lahren, I feel like I'm listening to someone campaigning for a high school president. And on top of that, you'll all get free pizza at lunch. Okay.
A lot of people don't accept the fact that he will be our 45th president of the United States. I'm wondering when they're going to accept that. What? Okay.
And is there a topic she doesn't complain about? I'll spare you the trouble of listening to Tomi Lahren's show. Here it is, in summary. Just on a loop.
Yeah.
Sad.
Sad. Baby.
Have you ever seen old clips of the Young Turks? Some are great, some are disastrous. We do all those and then pick them apart at TYT Classics. It's a hoot and a holler. Come join us, tytnetwork.com/join.